What's up, guys? Welcome back to another podcast. Today we're going to be talking about swimming. Episode 1 is about swimming because this is my first real episode. So today we're going to be talking about kind of overall of swimming, like how I've progressed, where I'm at right now, and then the big question, is swimming a sport and how hard is it? That's the main question I'll answer, but not right now. Right now we're going to talk about how I began swimming. So, first talk, how I began swimming. So, I began swimming back in Virginia, obviously, because I moved here. Go check out my IGTV for my moving video. I might talk about it here on the podcast, but maybe not. Depends on if I want to. But anyway, swimming 4 or 5 years old. I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I didn't know that I was swimming. I didn't know that my parents swam, like, at all. I had no swimming background. And then, obviously, once I did it for a year or two, I got into, like, the rec leagues, a summer league and a winter league. The winter league was more of a actual swim team. The summer league was just like a summer league, like a recreational, like you'd find around here. And I did those races, and if I look back on them today, I'd be surprised. You'd be shocked that I'm here right now. Being 4, now 15, I'm like, maybe not shocked, but 11 years growing that much, maybe. But I've 100% grown into that. So fast forward till I was like 7, continue swimming. And then when I moved, I had to move teams. So I moved teams, and then now I'm with, well, not now, but before I was, when I moved, I was on Lifetime. So I was on Lifetime for 7.5 to like 10, 11. And that was like my first really ever competitive like swim team. And it got me like the basics of racing. It got me into that like skillfulness, the techniques, and really like the racing aspect. Because when I was in Virginia, I really didn't do that type of thing. Like races, yeah, you'd race, but I wasn't racing that much. When I was 10 and 11, so there's two things that really happened around that period. One, I moved teams. Two, I had to make a decision between baseball and swimming. If you didn't know, I played baseball around the same time I started swimming. So, yeah, that was a head scratcher. Because I'd have to go full time. Because I was in baseball, I could manage between swimming and baseball a little bit. It was tough, but I could manage it. Now, moving from 11 to 12, it gets a lot harder. And then for swimming, it's getting harder too. So instead of, okay, it's here now, they're both starting to go up, and then they're meeting, which is not good in my terms. So I had to choose one. And some people give me hate for this, and brings me down a little bit, but it's my decision. You can't change that. I chose swimming over baseball because I valued swimming a lot more. And I thought in swimming I could get a lot better, which was really something that I think I valued and something that my parents valued as well. And then I think shortly before, not sure which one happened first because 5 years ago, goes by kind of fast. I moved teams. Can't really talk about into too much depth about how that happened because that's kind of personal information, personal life. But I moved teams from Lifetime to now the Cudas. I switched. Well, I was kind of forcefully switched. I don't know how to really explain it, but I switched. I keep repeating myself, and then I started off not knowing anyone, and I felt kind of slow. Like when I finished Lifetime, I was like, all right, I'm feeling kind of good. And then when I went to CUDA, I felt like I kind of dropped. But then when I was 12, I started to progress, and that really, I think, made me like, all right, I made a good choice from switching from baseball to swimming. So, how I've progressed from like seed cut times. So when I was on Lifetime, I did Silver State. That was like one of the main meets for me because I'm not fast enough to make state. When I was like 8, 9, I was still slightly kind of slow, But then when 10 came, I was in between the silver state and the state, and then I made state for long course. You know, swimming has a short course season and a long course season for at least 1800s, but once you get to college, you can, maybe it's a little bit more long course, and then obviously the Olympics is long course, so once you get to that point. But for right now, we have 2 seasons, short course and long course. And now that I'm recruiting, silver state really is not a thing really anymore for us personally as a team. We didn't think of it as like a good meet, and we did districts, which is within our league, because there are different kind of leagues around the state, and we're in like the Northern League, I think, Northern Districts. I have no clue, but that was our like meet after state, but because Silver State, both Silver State and districts were after state, so yeah. So next up is state. Obviously, when I was 10, 11, I progressed into state. And then when I was 12, I kept continuing the state. 13, it came to that point. 14, getting the state level, and then swagger when I was 14. Or a young age, 14. But then COVID came, so I was like, oh my goodness. So come on. I was so sad. Because it was one of the meets that I was so looking forward to, because I get to swim outside in California. Like, come on. Who doesn't want to swim in California? Outside. But obviously that didn't happen. And then now, as a 15-year-old, I made senior zones, because now I'm old. I'm 15. But making these kind of times really is tough. But I made the distance events, because I'm a distance soulful person. And that's kind of why I made them. I made them when I went to the Wisconsin meet, and I made them the meet before, when I was like a regular like dual meet. So that was pretty cool. So now I have the chance to go to that meet, and I'm still looking to improve and get, obviously in long course, looking to improve that. Just to know, I haven't swum long course in 2 years. Because last year I swam long course, I didn't get to swim it at all. There was maybe one meet in August. I was like, oh, here we go. Let's just go practice long course for like a meet. I was flying back from the Outer Banks, so I couldn't do it. So now I am doing long course in like June or July, because I'm doing high school swimming right now, or here in a few days it starts. So I'll be doing high school swimming, and I won't be able to do long course like practicing until like late June. I'll have some for club meets. I'll have a few of those long course meets in between, but really there's just not a lot. So I'm just, overall, I think I'm improving. I think everyone else around me is improving. Everyone's just getting better as we get like better, which then leads me into the main question: is swimming a sport? That is a big question. Like, I get comments about, I get like messages about, I'll get talked to about, I'll get whatever you want to call it. I'll even get hate for me calling it a sport when I talk about it. And during COVID, swimming really was not a thing, because you couldn't swim unless you had your own pool, because everything was closed for like a few months. So I was like doing dry land, which was kind of unfortunate. But, you know, I have to deal with it. And when I came back from COVID, I felt so slow. And feeling that slow, man, I haven't felt that slow in years. Like, it felt like I was maybe 13 again. That's how slow I felt. I could barely do a 200. And now I'm doing miles again. So it's taken me a year to get back to where I normally should be. I wouldn't say a year, probably good 7-8 months of good, slowly progressing and in training. I finally got to where I should be again, which is prouding. Because by the time New Year hit, I felt like I was doing good work. But when I was doing cross country, not so much. So continuing, is swimming a sport? Let's go back to that. People don't think it's a sport because, like, oh, you're not doing that much. Swimming's recreational. No, it can be competitive. So I'm actually going to bring my computer, actually. Oh my goodness. And I'm actually going to search up why swimming is not a sport for you guys. So let's take a look at this. So, why swimming is not a sport? I found this website. I already pulled it up because I wanted so I could have it down. So here's like something. Yeah, but swimming's not a sport anyway. So who cares, right? Like, and then it says swimmers are weak. We're not weak. I'm like, you could say maybe out of the water we're kind of weak, but we do other exercises out of the water. We stretch, we'll do some dry land, we'll do sit-ups, push-ups, like, we're maybe not strong, like, in, like, football, like, we're not, like, maybe, like, I don't physically, like, I don't really, like, we're water people, we're not land people, but, like, obviously, running, like, I run for in the summer and fall, so I'm both kind of, but like in the off season, like when you don't do anything, like towards the winter when dry land's inside, maybe we become weak, but I wouldn't say we're that weak. Like whoever makes that statement, this whatever, you're wrong. We're not that weak. Because it says you take swimmers out of the water and what do you get? Some lean wannabe athletes. Swimmers are weak, unathletic, and that's it. We're not unathletic. Why don't you come to our sets? It's not. Our sets are hard on some days. They're hard. So I don't know why they're making fun about us right now. Like, seriously? Like, come on. The races are super short, so they're super easy. It's not like a football game or a baseball game or a hockey game. You don't compete for 2 hours straight like those athletes do. So how much of a sport can it be? You hop into a chilly pool, splash your arms around for a minute, maybe 2, maybe 4 or 5, and then off to the hot tub. It doesn't matter that just every muscle in your body is being utilized. God, I can't say anything. In order to propel you through the water, which is measly 800 times denser than air, or that you have to throw down this kind of effort a dozen times over the course of a weekend. Like, they're not easy. This is fake. Whatever this website is, I am totally disagreeing. You hop into a chilly pool for splash off every 4 or 5 minutes. We're in there for like 2 hours. Our group. 2 hours. I'd say close to 2 hours. We're moving around at least 75% of the time. So that's like an hour and a half. Like we're moving a lot. Like I'm like obviously we have intervals so we can make sure we're not swimming constantly because that would hurt our muscles. That would put us to the breaking point. But football, it's like you don't compete for 2 hours straight. Actually, football you play for 5-10 seconds and then you break and then you do it again. So you're not actually playing it 2 hours straight. False evidence. But yes, you are playing a game. But I'm shocked by this right now. The mile is not short. If you're not good at the mile, it could take you probably 20 minutes. Like, that's a long time. Like, yeah, 50 free is going to take you like 25 seconds. If you like, on average, like 24, 25, 26, however fast you are. Like, a half minute, like the 100 free, like a minute, 200 free, like 210. Like, you're still swimming and then you have to warm down. It's just part of the game. I don't agree. I should put this link in the description. So, if you're wondering why there's a transition, my phone all of a sudden just cut off, so I'm going to continue. So, let's continue with the podcast. So, let's continue on with why swimming is not a sport, why some people consider it not a sport from the website. So, let's continue. So, it says anybody can do it. Yeah, anybody can do that. The kicking, arm thrashing, cannonballing into a pool. Piece of cake. Never mind the 20 plus hours a week, the countless number of hours staring at the black line, the thousands and thousands of flip turns, the early mornings, the late nights, the full weekends. Anybody without a will of iron and a commitment that veers into the partial insanity could absolutely do it. Maybe. And just like anybody who can run out, sprint Usain Bolt, anybody who has taken swim lesson can totally beat Michael Phelps. So in sum, swimming is absolutely, totally, completely not a sport. I'm like, okay, I'll say this. It is true, anybody can do the sport. But if you want to swim at like a certain level, it's very difficult. It's not like the, the kicking. Yes, we kick, but if it's like a fast kick set, that's going to be hard. It challenges your legs. It's pretty tough. The arm thrashing. We're not really, I'm like, you could say we're thrashing our arms, but we're moving them. We're doing the stroke, like the breast stroke, the back stroke, like it's a piece of cake. Not really. You have to learn the techniques to it. And if you don't know the techniques, it's going to hurt your body. So this is if people who are watching this who aren't swimmers, don't take this. Like, if you're a non-swimmer and you think that you can do this, go on right ahead, try it. You give a shout out, you go and try and see if you can do it. If you can do it, great, good, nice job. But if you can't, well, maybe you should have not talked back to me when I told you it was hard. Wow, what liars. Yeah, why? And now you go to the why people think it's a sport. Like us swimmers, like most of them think it's a sport. Some do think it's not, but here it says swimming is an individual or team racing sport that requires the use of one's entire body to move through the water. Competitive swimming is one of the most popular Olympic sports with varied distance events in butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle, and the individual medley, or IM for swimmer terms. So it is a sport. So maybe let's search up, is swimming a sport? So let's see why swimming is a sport. Let's see if we can search that. So one of the things that, I just quickly found is swimming is a good all-round activity because it keeps your heart rate up, but takes some of the impact stress off your body, builds endurance, muscle strength, and cardiovascular fitness. And it helps maintain a healthy weight, healthy heart, and lungs. So it does help. You build all of the muscles. It might not make you you'll be like, oh yeah, I lift weights, guys. I got biceps. But you're going to be strong in your arms, your legs, and then it can help you. Swimmers, it can be good at running. Not all of them, but using the legs when you swim, it can help running, and then it can help in all sorts of different ways. So that's why, I think it's a sport. Again, that. It's mentally challenging, it's physically challenging, it's all the above. I know this probably won't happen, but if you are a non-swimmer out there, I want you. I'm not saying you have to. Come challenge me. Not saying, oh, you swimmers from Kudas, come challenge me, because I might lose, because I know you're faster, but you non-swimmers, if you think you can beat me, DM me on Instagram. You'll be shocked at seeing actually how good our swimmers are. Here in the summertime, please watch the Olympics if it happens, which I'm pretty sure it's going to. Watch the swimming Olympics and see how fast they are compared to me. They're much faster, but I'm also much faster than you. So I'm in the middle between non-swimmers, swimmers, and Olympians. So just think about that next time when you want to argue with me. I have a lot of reasons, and then I can make you go into a pool. I can coach you. Maybe not coach you, but I could probably help you. So let's continue. And then, yeah, basically what I wrote down on what I was supposed to talk about. Because if you don't know, I actually do on here right now. Look right there. I am planning out what I say. Not really planning, but kind of like an outline. So I'm using this as an outline. Because if I didn't have an outline, I'd probably be repeating myself. Going, swimming is a sport, and then blah, 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 blah. Oh, swimming is a sport, blah, 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 blah. I'd be running my mouth for a while, and I wouldn't know what I'm talking about. Because I have an outline, it's really a lot more organized. So, kind of back to the talking about how hard swimming is, and how people really think how easy it is. I want, again, why don't you go into the pool, and you try some 500 sprints, or some 50 sprints on 35, 40, and then do some of that fly, rest, back, free. Try them all. See which one's easy, and then keep doing it. Very good 5 times. So do like 10 50s 5 times. Because that's a set we've done before. And we don't do it every time. Because obviously in practices we don't do the same set every single time. We mix it up. Like one day we'll do warm-up for backstroke. Or backstroke for warm-up. And then our main set will be IM, individual medley. So we'll do all the strokes. Or one day the warm-up will be freestyle, and we'll do, again, IM for the main set. Or we'll do IM for the warm-up, freestyle for the main set, or vice versa, all those other strokes, fly, breast, back. We'll do all of them. So I think, final conclusion, I think swimming is a sport. You can comment, you can give me all the hate you want, I want to see it. If you think swimming's not a sport, let me know in the comments. I really do want to know what you think. Or I'll put my Instagram in the description. You guys can DM me there. So that's all I really have for today's podcast. If I missed anything, let me know. And other than that, I'll see you guys in my next podcast, which is next Friday. Peace. Oh yeah, because they're